Hey, everybody.
Hi.
So Rufus is not going to make it. Otherwise, let's see, we have John, Kate, and myself. So we probably looks like we're going to need to elevate Brian. Can I get a, well, let me start the meeting. Okay, so I'm calling to order this July 17th regular meeting of the Kent Park and Recreation Commission. Can I get a motion to elevate Brian from the alternate position?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, great. So we have Brian elevated. So we have a quorum. And we can move on to number 3, the approval of agenda. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda before we approve it?
We need to make a few amendments. We need to add the discussion of the pumpkin run to programs and events. So that'll be 8D.
8D, okay.
And then 8 A, B, C, D, E. Jeez, I do know my alphabet, I swear. Dance program with Town of Warren. And then Mike, was there anything else that we talked about the other day that I didn't put on here?
No, the 2 things we talked about, I see in there.
Okay, let me just double check here. My notes here. Oh, F, 8F, dog obedience. And that is all I have to add.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the agenda as amended with 8D, E, and F added?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you, Kate. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, amended agenda approved. Moving on to item 4, approval of minutes from the 6/26 meeting. I didn't see those minutes.
Yeah, I forgot to upload those, so I'll just have to upload them to the next meeting. So I
Okay,
can just skip over that. I'll add that to the
Okay.
next meeting.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That was, I do have them. I just forgot to upload them.
No problem. So moving on to correspondence, was there anything that came through to the Parks and Rec this month, Jared?
Yeah, just one email, pulling it up. Oy vey, sorry, my computer is giving me a hard time today. This is an email from a resident who wanted to express concerns about potentially having a beach on Lake Warramong. She wrote, "Hi Jared, we emailed about this. Hi Jared, we emailed a while ago about this, a town beach. I was with friends in Sharon today, realized how badly Kent is in need of its own town beach. The state beach at Lake Warramog is lovely and we really love having it close by. However, there are no regularly scheduled lifeguards, no playground or changing facilities, and it feels transient. Definitely not a town beach. Is Kent working on acquiring land for the town to have a beach? Thanks, Alyssa."
So we have a piece of small property there. It's like a real small sliver of property on Lake Warramog, and it's hard to get into. I don't remember how big it is. I mean, it's not that big, but in order to make it even bigger, we'd have to acquire some land from the neighbors next door. So,
I didn't realize that the town owned it. That's interesting.
yeah, ask Jean. Jean's on there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if she's actively on right now, but
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
I don't know about any piece of land on Lake Warmog. I'm going to the assessor's website to look it up right now.
Yeah, we were always told that we have this sliver, a very small sliver of property there.
well, it was just something, the person, who wrote about it was very, passionate about. And, obviously with the discussion, as we talked about last time, really becoming, coming to the forefront regarding the future of water activity in Kent, it certainly seemed like a relevant, communique. So just glad we, put it out there.
So I was in touch with the CEOs from Warren and Washington, and so non-residents can use the Warren Town Beach and the Washington Town Beach. Warren Town Beach, the daily pass for residents and non-residents alike is the same, which I believe is $30 for a daily pass, and then I think Washington's is $60. They're always interested in conversations to collaborate, but this would probably be a longer term conversation, because I imagine it would have to get approved by the people to have a special pricing or something like that for Lake Warmog Kent residents.
Got it. Okay, that's good to know. Definitely good to know,
But we're already allowed to use those beaches. Is that what you said, Jean?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, they're open to non-residents as well as residents.
I haven't been to those beaches in a long, long time, but that's a pretty good sized beach.
Yeah, I think the Warren one is, well, I think they're both used, but
Not the one near New Preston, but the one over on the northern side.
yeah, I believe that's Warren's.
Yeah. Yeah, right near the Hopkins Inn, across from the Hopkins Inn, down that road.
Yeah, and I'm not finding anything through the assessors, the public view of the assessor's map on Lake Warmog that's owned by the town, but I can follow up with the town assessor. Do you know where that is, John?
It's right next to the winery.
Oh, well, that would be
I was
that same area.
only there once or twice. Because I couldn't believe it either that we had one.
Well, the winery is not in Kent.
Well, I know, but it's on the road by there.
Okay,
You go up by towards Craig Bibb's house. It's right that way.
okay. I'll keep looking and I'll follow up.
Yeah, it's interesting conversation.
Yeah, Leslie told me about it and I couldn't believe it. And then I went and checked it out and there it was.
And that was the only public comment, Jared?
Yeah, that was the only correspondence. Yep.
Okay, and yeah, I didn't have anything to my email this last couple weeks since our last meeting. Okay, so moving on to, I'm sorry. So would any guests like to, so I guess it looks like we only have Jean as a non-commission member, so it doesn't really count. Okay, so doesn't look like there's any public comment from the Zoom, so we can move on to 7, to-date budget. Jared let me know that we haven't received the latest monthly financials. That's right, Jared?
Yeah, they're down a person, so I'm assuming that's why we're a little bit behind. And obviously still wrapping up a lot of things from the end of the fiscal year. We're still receiving checks for 2023 fiscal year revenue, so it'll probably take a little bit.
Got
Can we get- can we get an update on the ARPA funding for the Park and Recs?
What update, with respect to what, John?
Well, the money was set aside for items that we haven't
Yeah.
used.
It's still there. All
What
good.
was the what was it again? How much was it?
40,000
40,000 for what?
for drainage at Kent Commons, and if money's left over, they wanted to see fitness equipment installed, which isn't something we had requested, so not really sure, but we got to worry about the drainage first, and we'll see what's left over, which not sure there's going to be a ton, but you know, we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Maybe we can talk about that at 10A. When you talk about the drainage or lack thereof recently.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll so once you get the financials, you'll throw it in the shared drive for next meeting.
Yeah, for the
Jared?
next meeting. Yep.
Okay.
I assume we'll have it by then.
Okay, moving on to 8A, programs and events, summer movie nights.
Yeah, so we had put a little money in our budget for that. And I was talking with Kate from the library. We've been coordinating on a number of different things. We thought it'd be cool to do like a library Park and Rec joint effort, kind of do one movie night to wrap up the summer at the end. The advantage to that is it starts getting a little darker a little earlier and towards the end of August. So, you know, you're not starting the movie at 9 o'clock at night. You could start it more like 8 o'clock. Basically, we'd have to pay for the rights for the movie, which is, you know, which is always the expense, Mike, as you remember from the Halloween one. But outside of that, there's really no expense. You know, we have all the equipment supplies that we need. So just something that we're chewing on, and you know, when I have more details, I'll send them your way. But we've talked about it several times now, and it seems like something, you know, that we could really, you know, we could really make happen.
Nice. So where would the location be for, this would be an outdoor?
Yeah,
event?
we'd want to do it outdoors. I'd honestly love to do it outside at Town Hall. You know, I haven't spoken with Gene about that yet, but other than that, you know, we could also do Kent Commons Park. But I like Town Hall because there's real bathrooms as opposed to porta potties. And
That's been my secret wish for a long time.
yeah, well, there you go. Perfect. And you know, we moved the egg hunt from Town Hall this year, so it'd be cool to still have, you know, an event at Town Hall because it's such a nice piece of property, obviously. So well, Gene's here, so are you cool with that, Gene? Sounds like you are. So
Yeah, I think it would be great.
awesome.
Whether it's a, you know, blow up one or fashion up something on the rear of the building where there's all that tons and tons of, you know, masonry wall, and that there's a little bit of an uphill that goes towards the back. Yeah, I think it would be fun. We could
Yeah, we have
probably
a screen, so we're
great.
good. Yeah, we got the screen, the projector, we got everything we need. Obviously, as you know, the speaker system. So it would be a cakewalk.
Yeah, sounds
and
like
Mike and I did the Halloween one and figured, you know, troubleshot everything. So at this point,
Yeah.
you know, be easy to knock it right out.
sounds great.
Yeah, and
Well,
I think the town hall would be a good location versus one of the parks just for bugs.
Agreed. So once we have that, you know, nailed down, I'll let you guys know. But looking at, like I said, the end of the summer when it's kind of like a capstone on the summer, and also when it's a little darker, a little earlier.
Nice. Yeah, good idea. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you said the library is a partner for that?
Yeah, they seem really interested. So you know, I think it's almost a done deal. It's just really ironing out the details because it's all been theoretical up to this point. The next item is tennis in the parks. I probably should defer to you on this one, Mike. I haven't heard from the USTA guy, John, yet. But we know how the story goes. He's going to ask us if we have instructors because he can't find any for the area. And obviously Julia was our instructor for the past few years, but she has said she won't be able to continue. Especially as her kids get older and whatnot. She has, obviously familial commitments. So no, I know, Mike, you've taught it in the past, but obviously it's not a one instructor program. So I just wanted to kind of see what your thoughts were and if you had any leads on, other people who could do it. I'm all ears because unfortunately I know I've never played tennis in my life. So it's one of the few sports I really don't know anything about.
It definitely takes two people. It worked really well with Julie and I. I don't have someone in the front of mind to fill her spot, but I will work on it. The dates last year were middle of September to middle of October. So it's coming up.
Would that work for you again?
I can make it work, definitely. I think the demand would be there because there's not that many spots, it's I think we did
Two groups of 8, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
2 groups of 8 to 10. So that I feel confident that we could fill that up. But we definitely need it probably would be kind of lame to only do it for 4 to 5 kids if there's only one instructor.
Could you
because the
do
idea
it?
is to try to get as many kids going as possible.
You being the tennis guy, could you do it with someone who wasn't experienced in tennis so long as you were running point? Or do you think that second person needs to have experience in tennis?
I think it's important. Yeah, I think it's important to have someone like Julie, who's a tennis player, or someone with a background in tennis.
Got it.
But if it comes between not having it and someone that's willing and able, I think we would probably entertain that.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about it a little more.
Remind me, did we do it during the weekends or on the weekdays?
We did it Wednesday. The first one was 3 to 4 and the second was 4 to 5.
Okay.
So 2 age groups, each an hour, 2 courts at once.
On Wednesday. Okay.
On Wednesdays, yeah. Which I'd be flexible for.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Mike.
I remember you, Kate, your son. He's a tennis guy, right?
Yeah, we lost him though. He moved to Virginia.
Yeah. He's gone to Virginia. Okay. Too bad.
But I mean, that I'll think about it. See if there's some tennis players.
Cool. Thanks, Kate. Okay. And I can just touch base with USTA.
Yeah.
Just let them know where we're at.
Yeah, that would be great. And I'll put out some feelers too, but I don't know a ton of people in the tennis world. I know Julia said she had one person who she thought would be a good fit, but I haven't heard back from her yet. She was going to ask. So I'm not holding my breath, but yeah, let's just keep in touch, Mike, about it as we go and see what we can do.
All right, sounds good. So C is event with KCNS.
Yeah, that was Abigail and Biz had wanted this on here, but it seems like it fell through. I spoke to them about it over the weekend. And there was some logistical things that didn't really work. So, and neither of them are here either. So as far as my understanding of it, it was a no-go. So I think it's just something we could move past.
Okay. 8D pumpkin run.
Yeah. So the pumpkin run, let's see, what is his name? Dave Dunleavy reached out and asked if we would be sponsoring the event again this year. Obviously the word sponsor is kind of a misnomer because we can't sponsor an event as the Park and Rec department. However, because this is an athletic community event that's right in our wheelhouse, we're basically contributing to help the event run. They said in the past we've done either $250 or $500. And obviously with the budget issues that we've had, I would strongly urge us not to do more than the 250, only because we are already behind the 8 ball. So we got to be conservative, excuse me.
You want to you want to take some action on that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me if you guys are good with it.
Yeah, so I'm for it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm for it.
Kate,
Yeah, yeah.
so make a motion. Besides myself.
Yeah, make a motion to contribute 250 towards the Ken Pumpkin Run and have a on-site presence.
Second.
All those in favor? Any discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
So
These
who
two-
made the motion? Mike, you made the motion?
I did, yes.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Kate did.
All right.
There aren't too many people here to go by.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Kate seconded every motion so far,
It's
so.
not a full house. We used to hand out stuff. Do you think we could do that as well?
Yeah, last year we were there. We did like the costume contest. We gave out some candy and stuff. I wasn't thrilled with how it went. There was kind of a disconnect between people checking in and coming to us with their costumes and whatnot. So, we're just gonna basically go back to the drawing board, I presume, Mike, and try to do it again, but perhaps a little more conjoined with the other organizations there.
Yeah, or we could concentrate more on the kids, the kids run, or
Yeah, that's what we were. Yeah, we were doing the kids costume contest. Like after the kids run, they would come and get their prizes. But I wasn't. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't think it went that well for us. So I think we could have done better.
Well, it was just a little bit of confusion about when the costume judging was occurring.
Yeah,
And so
agreed.
there were more kids with costumes than judged costumes. So yeah, we could tighten it up a bit, but I think it's an awesome event. So we could definitely do something cool.
Yeah. I think it was I had never been to the event before, and I think that I was a little bit behind the 8 ball. And as a result, we weren't getting as many people coming our way as we should have. So I think now that I understand a little better, I think we can be a little more effective.
Cool.
So, yeah, I take responsibility for that. So
No, all good. You're just being hard on yourself. All right. 8E dance program.
yeah, so the Kent School, one of their dance instructors, they're starting to reach out, and the Kent School is starting to reach out and trying to, just like we're doing with swim and skating, they want to start doing some dance programs in the community as well. And so they were coordinating with Warren Social Services on a dance program and asked if we wanted to be involved, which of course I said, yeah. Basically, we're looking at a 6-week program. It would start next Monday. So like I said, we're a little behind the 8 ball. But this is one of those same things like we did with swim. It's like a trial program. We're just putting it out there, seeing how it goes. It would be $55 per kid. It would be like a fee program, basically, where the instructor would get the 50, we'd get the 5, the 90-10 split. And it would take place at the Warren Community Center, which is about a 10-minute drive from here. And Specs, that's the name of the guy who he's one of the dance instructors at the Kent School. He is running the program. So yeah, basically I'd like to coordinate with them, advertise the program, see if we can get a few people to sign up, and go from there.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
It's a hip hop dance program. I'm sorry, just to throw that out there.
No
Yeah.
jazz.
So,
No jazz, not yet, John. Not yet. We'll get there.
Yeah, so let's make a motion.
let's do it. So the motion would be to advertise a dance program in conjunction with the town of Warren
Yep.
for $55 a child at the location again is the Warren
Community center.
at the Warren Community Center.
Yep.
Would anybody like to take that motion? Or I guess
All
I'll
Yeah, I'll make a
I'll
motion.
okay.
Yep.
And I will second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Yeah, Jared, I think sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's another thing, just kind of another way we're coordinating with Kent School and taking advantage of the resources they have. You know, they have obviously legitimate professional instructors, and you know, that's just it's just a great resource that we're continuing to tap into. So I'm appreciative to Warren and Kent for reaching out, and hopefully it's the start of, you know, another something really good. So
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, great. 8F, dog obedience.
okay, so Lee is going to run another session of dog obedience. It'll be an August, September program, $150 a dog, takes place at Kent Commons. And the usual stuff. Sorry, I don't really have more to say than that. $150 a dog, 7 weeks, Kent Commons Park.
Make sure we have plenty of doggy bags.
Yes, I actually, John, you'll be happy to know I ordered 2,000 doggy bags, so we will be good for the next several years.
It's better
And
than
I
it being.
got them for a great deal, great deal, 2 cents a bag, or
That's
2
pretty
tenths, 2/10 of a cent. I don't know what it was, but it's really good. Whatever it was a great deal, and I knew you'd be happy, John. So
Yeah, it's better than having it on the tennis court than it is.
Oh man, definitely.
absolutely.
That's a nightmare. Yeah, and so since you've been here, Jared, roughly how many dogs do they get per program?
She gets about 8 dogs, which
That's
I don't
cool.
think, honestly, I don't think she wants too many more than that, because obviously it's a specialized program. You can't really go. I mean, Kate, you're shaking your head, so you know,
Yeah,
too
I've done a few puppy classes in my day. Yeah, you don't want more than 8 dogs for
Yeah.
sure.
exactly. And we gotten a lot of great feedback. If you check Facebook, every time I post and like, oh, we're starting another session, somebody always chimes in like, that was the best $150 I ever spent. So people seem to be really pleased with it.
All right, well, I'll make another motion for a 7-week dog obedience course at Kent Commons in the months of August through September at the rate of $150 per dog.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great. Dog obedience is a go.
Okay.
So that wraps up our program and events. So now moving on to 9 personnel. Our recreation aid job description has come back to us. So
Yeah.
there was a tweak in the language about the number of hours, and the selectmen were more comfortable if we were the ones to sign off on the tweak. So Jared, maybe you want to explain the change that.
So this was my fault, and I just think an oversight. So he said this is a part-time per diem position with hours not to exceed 20 in any given work week. But the problem with that is during camp season, you may exceed 20. Even if you just work 2 days, that's 16 hours right there. So I think honestly, before we can really actually move forward with anything, I need to talk to Barbara and find out, or Joyce, Barbara or Joyce, or both of them, and find out what the rules and laws are regarding that, because if someone's working 32 hours a week, when does that become full-time versus seasonal versus part-time? I don't know the answer to that question. And the more I kind of chewed on this, the more I realized that before we could really solidify this job description, we need an actual legal answer. Because we could put in there whatever we want. And if we don't put any hour limit on it, then in theory, if someone's not that they would, I obviously know better, but in theory, if someone's consistently working 32 hours a week, at what point does that go from being part-time to full-time or seasonal? And I just don't know the answers. So I think we should table this until Barbara or Joyce can weigh in on exactly how this should be phrased to give us the greatest degree of flexibility while still not needing to pay this person benefits, because this is not that type of position. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking too. But so what would be in your mind a max hour week if it was the busiest week of the year?
Well, that's the thing. In camp season, you could theoretically work 40 hours a week. But once camp season's over, you're really not working more than 20. So it's only 2 months where in theory you could work 40. But I know there's some kind of just because you work 1 40-hour week does not make you a full-time employee.
Right,
So-
there's something about the Department of Labor laws that talks about an average over, I believe it's the course of a year. But
Yeah,
Barbara
exactly.
she knows that law really well and
Who
can
would be?
understand it with regards to payroll and all that sort of stuff.
Who did you say, Gene? Barbara?
Barbara, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we should just table it. I already got a note here to speak to Barbara about that when she's in tomorrow, and just get the actual, she can give us the language exactly how we need to frame it, and then we can put that in there. And then I think otherwise the Board of Selectmen were happy with everything else, right, Gene?
Sorry, didn't know I was on mute. Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And then
Mike, was there
our-
anything else from that meeting that you recall that stuck out?
no, we have a meeting next Thursday, I believe. So I don't know how the commission wants to leave this, because it would go then another 30 days, out to your next monthly meeting. The 2 monthly meetings are in some cases, because they're a week-ish apart, that's a good thing, but in this case, I think it's not a good thing. And we can always have a special meeting. So
Got it.
Just want to let you all know the timing.
Okay. Thanks.
For the camps, was there a first aid requirement as well?
What was that, John?
First aid requirement for the camps?
It's not a requirement because so the camp director has to have the first aid. I have the first aid as well, but it's something we try to do. So about half of our counselors have first aid this year. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of them do have it. So there's always usually 2 to 3 people there with the first aid certification.
Okay, well, yeah, just I guess keep us posted on your discussions with
Barbara.
internally, yeah, with Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is really just I think we all know what we want to do. It's just a semantics thing. So, we should be able to solve this pretty easily.
Okay, yeah, because if you want to do a quick special meeting at some point before that selectment meeting next week, I'm sure we could probably get a quorum if it was just going to be a
Yeah,
10
5-minute meeting. Yeah, just to approve it. Okay. Cool. Yep, I got a note of it. We'll Barbara and I will talk tomorrow.
Okay, Parks and Fields, starting with Kent Commons update.
Yep. So Kent Commons update. So last week we had a bit of definitely a bit of storm damage, erosion to the trails from the big storm that hit, I guess it was Sunday. So we Ed and a bunch of the seasonal part-time people, we all went out to the park. We spent the day there. We literally fixed everything up. Looks great. And so it actually was I'm honestly glad that it happened, because it showed me some areas where there's runoff and erosion that I really couldn't have seen beforehand without actually just having a huge rainstorm. So you know, basically it is it kind of plays right into the drainage project, which I met with Ty from land use earlier today. And as I told you guys, I've already walked the park with 2 contractors and Rick. And basically we got the framework down, and hopefully I'll have a sketch drawn up in the next couple weeks. And you know, I'm gonna have Rick and Ed kind of sign off on it, metaphorically speaking, before it goes to inland wetlands. And basically Ty said, you know, she kind of gave me the boxes that I need to check before submitting our plan. And inland wetlands will do what they did with the playground project, which is basically discuss it, make sure that we are addressing all of their concerns. And once they sign off on it, we can just go out to bid based on the plan that we put together, which will be shared with you guys once it's official, but it'll involve a whole bunch of different swales, regrading the parking lot, getting rid of all those mounds in the parking lot to so that we can pitch it in the appropriate direction, and installing some catch basins and drains and underground pipes in strategic areas. So it's coming together nicely. And you know, I think ideally we'll be able to have some contractors bidding on it you know, in the fall.
Pay attention to the, pay attention to the culvert that we just replaced. Before the rain, it started to settle well below where it should be. So keep an eye on that. It's towards the dump side. So just keep your eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to Rick. Is that a road, or is that the parking lot? I'm not 100% sure on that.
No, as you cross over that bridge, the culvert is underneath that.
Yeah, no, I know, but is that a town road, or is that a part of the park's parking lot? Like, I'm not sure
That's
where the
park.
road ends and the park begins.
Yeah, just right at the culvert where it starts, and then goes right to the tennis courts. Yeah.
Yeah. But is that park property, or is that a town road?
No, that's park property.
Okay, got it. All right. Yeah, Rick and I will be walking the park again once to button all this up, and Ed as well. So we'll make sure to look at that.
And you said you took a lot. I mean, I know you posted some photos to Facebook, but
You see the
Yeah.
koi we rescued?
it's well, did it find its rightful owner? I saw someone say that it was their koi.
She came down. So we, you know, there's koi in the pond behind the pool at Emery Park. So we just figured, oh, it washed down from there. Not that any of us knew what path it would have taken. So we brought it back up there, and then the lady contacted me and said she thinks it was hers because she's missing one from her pond. So I said, go and get it. So she went over the weekend and got a net and took it home.
So
That's cool.
little bit of history. Those koi belong to Andrew, and they lay about 80 eggs a season. And it was overwhelmed. The pond has been overwhelmed, and he's been
Wow.
giving them away for everybody. But sometimes when there's an overflow of the water, they'll get right into the drainage there and right into the river.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
This one was huge. It's about 2 feet long.
yeah, actually, the one that Andrew has is about 4 foot long, and it's got beautiful colors.
It's very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so it took us, you know, we had a bunch of the part-timers out, Ed, myself, and it took us a full day, but we literally got everything done. I think honestly the park looked as good as it has all year when we were done. So I was actually really pleased with it. And once again, that's why having extra staff and I sent Mike this message afterwards, but that's why it is so important to have more than just a person, because it's amazing what you come together, you get a team, you plan out the day, exactly who's going to do what jobs, and you can knock out a lot, so kudos to the staff, because it was hot and humid and awful out, and everybody worked really hard to make sure the park didn't look like the storm, like to get rid of the storm damage. So
That's great.
Yeah.
So also on Kent Commons, the pickleball lines. What's the best way to get that moving forward?
Well, we need to get it cleaned. So I
Okay.
have I just got a quote from someone on getting it cleaned, but it's like $2,500. So we need
Oh wow.
to get more quotes on that.
Okay.
And then go from there. It can't be painted until it's cleaned, because it's really
Yeah.
bad. It's really black.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah. So
you're gonna get a couple more quotes. for
yeah,
cleaning.
it's all on there. It's all on the agenda. It's slow moving, I can't, unfortunately, it's only so many hours in the day right now. So, but it's there. It's like I said, I got the quote from American Washer or whatever. I don't even know the name of the company. Let's see. American Safe Wash.
Gotcha.
And,
Okay. KCS Fields.
sorry, I'm just give me 1 second here. Yeah, it's $2,500, $12.50 per court. So yeah, get working on getting more quotes, and we'll keep going on that. As for the KCS Fields, there's really not a whole lot to update there. So that was just kind of on there as a placeholder under Parks and Fields, but I don't really have anything to update.
Are they cutting the grass too short?
I don't think so. And honestly, with all the rain that we're getting, it is it's as full as I've ever seen it. So
Good. It worked out well then. Yeah.
definitely working out well.
Oh, great. Emery Park.
Yeah. So Emery Park, I spoke to Billy McCann about coming in and cleaning out the inside of the pool. So he's going to get me a proposal on that. I guess he's the guy who's done it for the past few years, it sounds like, from what he's told me and what other people have said. So basically, pressure washing the sides of it, getting all the muck out. We need to get all that sand that's in there out of there. Basically, the whole thing needs to just be emptied out. And then what we need to do is we need to fill it. Otherwise, it'll completely fall apart. And then we need to run the aerator all the time, and just at least won't be so unsightly. And then as we continue to discuss, we really need to, at a meeting soon, really sit down and hash out what our plan is going to be for that park, and as a result, all the parks. But at the very least, I'm just waiting to hear back from Billy on when he can do this and what he thinks it's going to cost, all that. And I can come back to you guys with that. But it just needs to be cleaned out, plain and simple.
Yeah,
And
make sure
then-
he does the cement work too. So
What was that?
make sure he does the cement work too.
Well, I don't know how much cement work we should be doing until we know what we want to be doing with it, but he'll come back with a proposal on what needs to be done. So
The other thing that we should be revving up for is the fact is we should start in November. There's a Connecticut Trails grants that go out every year, which we could use or could apply to, and get somebody to get up there and fix the trails through this grant program.
Yeah, that's definitely important, and I still haven't forgotten about getting out there and trying to document it, John. So I hope to do that in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, because it comes pretty quick. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to start sending it in by March. So, and some of these grants are very large, and So maybe we could use a lot of that money. So see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it would be nice to have a big clearing at the top again, you know, with a picnic bench so you could see into the New York State.
Yeah, I like that idea.
It would be cool if we could reach out to, connect up with Club Getaway up there and then have like another trail that goes right down to Club Getaway. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. And they're always seems open to doing things with us. So
Yeah, because they're our neighbor up there.
yeah, okay. I guess I didn't realize that. Okay. Last on the agenda, water feature plan of action.
Yeah, so basically we need to, like I said, I mean, we're just I'm repeating myself at this point in the meeting, but we need to determine what our course of action is going to be with respect to a water feature, whether I'm just throwing these things out there. They're all purely hypothetical, but whether it's totally renovating Emery Park, whether it's going 100% all in on the splash pad at Kent Commons, whether it's exploring land purchases at Lake Warramug. I'm not saying that's even possible, but what I mean to say is this seems to be the thing that the question that remains unanswered. We have programming we're doing well on, we're getting a new playground in, but with respect to the parks, we really can't move forward a whole lot until we answer the question of water. And so we need to have a plan of action as to how we're going to officially and swiftly answer that question. And then once that question's answered, a plan of action for moving forward. And sounds to me and conversations with Mike, that there's been discussions about this in the past. There's been a subcommittee that discussed Emery Park, and Lynn Harrington had made mention that they did a study on splash pads and they didn't think that they were feasible. So there's a lot of, it sounds like, information out there, but we kind of need to aggregate it and put it together and make a decision. So yeah, I think this is just kind of the first step, bringing it up, and let's start planning, even in the loosest sense.
And what I'm myself, focusing on is trying to, quantify figure out what steps and quantify the cost to reviving Emery Park's pool. So, that just as a example of, we're hearing that there's some disappointment in the lack of water features in town. What are the options? Because we have some money coming in that we can use to improve or create. So so as something that from my talks with people around town, I have some thoughts on some things that could be done to the Emery Park pool, for example, and I want to present what the steps would be and how much it would cost. So that's something that I'm working on myself.
I've always felt that this is such a big decision that I feel like it's a decision that as a group, I feel somewhat uncomfortable making by just this group. And I know I've always felt that way, just because it is such a big deal for the town. I don't know, but
Yeah, and I definitely understand that. And so, I was just thinking, like, okay, if I feel that same sentiment, like what can I do to kind of just start moving the ball forward? And it's, kind of what I just explained is that is like something that, okay, if I do that, then I can feel like I'm doing something.
oh
And at
yeah,
least,
I would love to hear what that that would be so great if we could make Emery Park be the answer. That would be so, I think that would be, I think it'd be ideal, you know? But
Yeah, and it's just kind of like the goal is just to putting together a complete picture, and you know, some Jared, I know he's kind of knows more about the splash pad than anyone else, because he took me and walked me around and kind of pointed out where things would be, but also where some things still need to get figured out.
Yeah, but then he's like, well, but his splash pad isn't going to provide, forgive me, I'm forgetting her name, a place to swim, like
True.
that,
Yeah.
so like, and if there's money to be spent, that's why I feel like it's a tricky thing. And I want to, anyway, does Jean, do you have your hand up? Is that what that means?
Yeah. I was trying to be polite.
Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
I wonder if a good conversation and a good part of the process would be to come up with a public survey to understand. Well, first understand, I think people still may not understand like the deed restriction on the property at Emery Park. So like you were talking about, Mike, a full complement of almost like a background white paper kind of start, and then ask out to the residents, coming up with, not just a way open question, but
Yeah.
having the commission sort of chew on different options and I don't know if there might be, I know we have a couple of landscape architects and big parks people who live in town, but maybe pulling them in for their, pearls of wisdom on, we have this very varied large piece of property of Emery Park. What might be some great options or opportunities to maximize and protect but turn it into something more usable? We know that there are major parking issues with Emery Park. We know that the way that the geography is a little bit tough because of where the current swimming hole is. It's way down at the bottom, and the bugs issue, both my kids swam there for many years, but also how much shade there is. So it might make sense to find some subject matter experts and see if they could, volunteer a couple of meetings with you all, almost to do like a what is that process called? A nominal, oh, I forgot. It's late and I'm suffering from vertigo. Basically, you throw out a lot of ideas, almost like a brainstorming session, but have people who are park subject matter experts. We could probably get somebody from the Parks Division of Deep to come and offer pearls of wisdom. There are resources out there to then put in a survey a few ideas to the public and see what they would like to do.
Yeah, I agree, Jean. I was thinking, because there's things about the placement of Emery Park that I think we all just recently learned about within the past 2 years, about the drainage coming off of the road, and like just to find out what we shouldn't do, at least find out what we can't or what we shouldn't do, just so that the town understands what, what we're up against, that we, and yeah. Granted, that's all of this is gonna, we involve more people, it's gonna take more time, but yeah.
Mike, when you're doing that, just be careful of the feeder pond. That needs to be fixed as well, if you're gonna go ahead with the pool, so.
Yes, to include that in the overall. Yeah, and I'm not, I guess I'm not saying like I'm necessarily a proponent for one thing or the other yet, but it's just
We need
just
more
try to
information.
get
Yeah,
complete information and
yeah, totally.
moving the ball forward, because we're already in the middle of one summer, and that means there's, only eight more meetings, or let's say until the next summer. So it just, time goes by so fast with such a window of time that you have to act, that just want to start making progress.
Do you guys think it's possible that a lot of people in our town don't know that they can use those beaches over on Lake Warmog? Because I didn't know it.
Yes. I think,
Um,
no,
That's an astronomical cost.
I'm sorry?
I think that's Brian. Is that Brian?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit, Brian, but I think he's saying that daily cost is 60 and 20 is a lot of money.
Warrentown Beach at $30 is
yeah.
Warrentown Beach at $30. Yeah,
Oh, that's every time? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a
like
daily.
a season. I thought that was a season pass.
No, and that's what they charge the residents too. For daily,
Oh.
It's
Oh,
not-
Oh, I didn't
it's not
realize
an
that.
increase over what they charge residents. It's same for residents and non-residents.
Damn, that is a lot. Sorry, excuse me. That's all, yeah, that's a hefty ticket.
Well, I imagine it speaks to the maintenance costs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood that.
Okay. Well, Jared, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Regarding the water feature thing?
Yeah, just this
Yeah,
last
no,
step.
no, I agree with what you're saying, like we spoke about when we spoke on the phone the other day. Really what needs to be done is every possibility needs to be, we need to basically look at what every possibility is and then determine how feasible those possibilities are financially, from a land use perspective. And I think honestly, it's gonna involve, I know we're talking about people from the state or local people, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have to pay someone who's gonna really be able to come in and who's gonna be able to, test it, look at the land, and basically an engineer, look at the land, look at the things we want to do, and come up with some, what they call our concept plans, and give us ballpark numbers on what they'll cost, given the land, given, what we have to work with. If we get this grant from the state, the ARPA funding from the state, plus the money we have for Emery Park, we can take a portion of that and have a professional pay someone, not just count on a volunteer, someone to donate their time, but pay someone who's going to make it their priority to give us accurate proposals in a timely fashion. And not that volunteers aren't awesome and everything else. I appreciate all the volunteers and everything everybody does, but I don't think this is one of those things that we just want to, get some people to come and, throw around some opinions. I think we need to basically pay someone to look at everything and give us a realistic idea of what it's going to take to accomplish those goals. And then, like Gene said, take those things and say, okay, what does the community want to do? And what do the Board of Selectmen want to do as well? Because I agree with Kate. This is a huge decision, potentially several hundred thousands of dollars. And I don't know if that's necessarily something that we can do on our own. I don't know if that would even be the responsible thing, to be honest. So. Yeah, but I kind of just aggregating what everyone's already said. I agree totally.
Cool. So can we find that person?
Definitely. So
Yeah.
when I did a park plan, I was telling Mike this over the weekend, we spoke at length. Before I left my previous job, we had a secondary park that was really underdeveloped, probably even was in worse shape than Emery. And I came up with a very, very basic concept plan of what I wanted to see, basically like my dream, what I wanted to see there. And we were fortunate we didn't have to pay an engineering firm because we had a local benefactor who came in and paid an engineering firm to come in, and they went and they surveyed the property and they looked at water courses and soil conditions. And then they took that dream plan and said, okay, well, that's a nice dream, but here's what we actually can do. And basically what we would need to do is that, but for several things: a splash pad, Emery Park, whatever the other things are that we might want to do. We would need someone who's going to come in and do that concept plan for all the options. And in the concept plan, they gave us a price schedule based on what they, you know, past history would indicate those things that we wanted to do would cost. And then we were able to take that plan and we actually got funding from the state for it. But you can then take that plan and like I said, like Gene said, you say, hey, here are our options. This one's going to cost $5 million, but this one's only going to cost 300,000. What do people want to see? So I'm really paraphrasing there, but the point being, Kate, to answer your question a little more concisely is yes, I think finding that person or a firm is totally doable, 100%.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we'll keep it on the agenda and hopefully I'll have more to add next meeting. Okay, well, if nobody has anything else to add, I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Oh, second?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, well, thanks, everyone. I know this is a busy time of year, so I'm glad that we got the meeting in.
Well
And,
done in an hour. That's
yeah,
impressive.
nice, clean hour meeting. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, no. When's the next meeting, Mike? The 21st?
I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me.
Is it the third Monday? Is that what we do?
That's typically what we do.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the 21st. That might be tough for me, but we'll cross that bridge a little closer. I obviously that I'm trying to take a little bit of vacation time before the school year starts again. So that
Sure.
might be a little fuzzy for me, but we'll worry about that down the road.
Got it. All right. Yeah, just keep us posted.
Okay.
All right. Well, everyone have a good night.
All right.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.